You know, folks, it's interesting how things change, how markets change, how metals change. And this is, to me, the perfect example of that. The perfect example of that. I have here 10-ounce copper bars, made in the United States. This American copper, made Frontier Mint is right here in the United States. And at one point, I didn't used to sell copper bars. As a matter of fact, when I first started doing this, I sold 10-ounce silver bars for this price, for $29.95. Of course, those same silver bars, all of you people that bought them from me for $29.95, $39.95, it wasn't that long ago that silver was $2 an ounce. That silver was $1.75 an ounce. And so all you people that bought that those years ago when I first started on television, you can sell those now for, what are they? I mean, what will we sell those for? $500, $550, $600 for a 10-ounce bar that I originally sold at $29.98? Well, now we're starting the cycle again, in essence. Silver, going absolutely crazy. Gold is just insanity. So what's that left for the stackers, the folks that like to stack metal, myself included? So, stacking gold, I mean, a little tiny stack of gold, like right here, that's $100,000. Little tiny this in a gold bar is $40,000. So there's over $1 million in gold there. I remember when gold was, $200 an ounce. And so you have, all of that. Silver, I remember when silver was that. Now, if you're stacking silver, you need $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 to stack silver. So if you're going to stack metal, if you're looking at that, copper has become the kind of go-to metal in terms of pure affordability. And that's what you're looking at here. And of course, copper prices, over the last several years have gone up pretty dramatically in their own right, because copper's used in so many things, around the world. And so to be able to get these 10-ounce pure copper bars are, kind of that's kind of safe haven that you're looking for, and particularly a safe haven of affordability. So at $29.95. And I went out there and looked around. 10-ounce copper bars. I mean, I looked at one of the biggest precious metals dealers in the country and went to their copper page, right? Zero availability on 10-ounce bars. Zero availability on 10-ounce bars. They had 1-ounce bars for $3.99, $4.99, $5.99 an ounce. So all of a sudden, you're starting to see, even in the market, shortages of copper, particularly in the 10-ounce copper, the kind of this real, kind of affordable size, this fantastic transactable size of copper that you have right here at only $29.95 for 10 ounces. Then you get the 4-pack. You get the 4-pack right there, over 3 pounds of pure copper right there at only $100, and of course the bar size at $99.95. Now, each one of the bars is individually serial numbered. Each one of the bars comes with its own individual certificate that you have right there that's matching to the serial number on the bar. So if you're going to stack, if you're going to put, kind of have that security of metal that's out there, I mean, that is the way that you're going to do that. And so all of a sudden, I have seen the availability, and that's how I determine how things, how anybody determines, how popular something is. And how popular something is the availability in the marketplace. And the fact is the availability of 10-ounce copper bars in the marketplace is extremely thin. So in other words, there's very few of these bars even available. There's very few of these bars even available out there in the marketplace. And so just the fact that we have got availability of these is one of the big things. But then at price, I went out there and looked around. I mean, 35, 40, 45, 50 for 10-ounce copper bars. You've seen the things that you used to see out there that just don't exist anymore. I mean, they did copper bars like I think, a lot of the other, kind of big metals companies did copper bars. You can't find any of those anywhere. And now on top of that, you have an American mint with American copper in this as well, which I think is critically important in terms of, kind of making your collecting decision. The other thing I love about it, once again, is the affordability. So you get 4 bars, well over 3 pounds of pure copper for $100. And I think that's, that makes it stackable, because if you want $100 worth of silver these days, it's basically 2 ounces of silver. It's basically 2 ounces of silver for $100. So, that now all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, I want to stack something substantial. And like I said, when I first started doing this, I literally sold silver bars that looked just like this for $29.95. When I first started collecting them many, many, many moons ago, 10-ounce silver bars were like $11. $12, for a silver bar. Well, like I said, those are, $500 now for 10-ounce bars. And if you want a specialty 10-ounce bar, it can be even more than that. You can get up to, you do like some of the specialty Geiger bars, and they do 10-ounce coppers. Good luck finding those. You're not going to find them for $29.95. Specialty bars in silver can go to $600 or even higher. So now to be able to stack a substantial amount of metal, copper seems to be the way to go. This is this transition that we're seeing. It used to be, gold was what everybody went to. And then all of a sudden gold went up from, $200 an ounce to $300 to $500 to $800 to $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000, and now it's on its way to $4,000 an ounce. So stacking gold kind of goes by the wayside oftentimes. Silver, now, as it's rocketing, I don't know, head towards $50 an ounce and even higher at this point. And so, stacking silver becomes even more difficult, smaller increments. This is the way to stack metal. And this is, copper is so heavily used industrially, and so it's very tradable. And so when you're looking at stacking metal out there, you want things that are in a transactable size, and now you've got this in a very transactable size, okay, at $29.95, down to $25. Save $5 a bar if you buy the 4-pack of bars. And like I said, it's not just chunks of copper or whatever. Remember, this is fully refined, 99.99% fine copper. Each one is individually cast, so they're cast bars. And if you look at this, I'm going to pull this out, so you can see they're individually wrapped with a serial number on the bar itself, and then with the certificate that matches the serial number on the bar. So what you have is that that authenticity of this as well, the authenticity of the metal. And like I said, in this fantastically transactable size of only 10 ounces for each bar, and only $29.95. Like I said, if you go out there, 10-ounce bars are very difficult to find. You can find 1-ounce bars, but they are on a per-ounce basis significantly more. Particularly when you buy the 4-pack and you're down to, $25 a bar. So you have affordability, and more importantly in the marketplace today, as I went out and looked around, it's not just the affordability. Understand one of the big issues here that we're able to solve as you're calling in right now, and our phones are absolutely crazy, is availability. In other words, we have got available bars. Yeah, and you have to buy from somebody that you trust. You go out there on the internet. I bought 2 or 3 batches of stuff last week. I know they're fake. Absolutely, positively, and it seems to be more and more and more prevalent. You have to buy from a place that you trust. Look, I've been here for 25 years at CSN. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee. That only matters if we're going to be here in 30 days. I mean, we've been here almost 30 years, so you can buy with confidence. You know that you're going to get your bars. You know that your purchase is safe and sound and secure. Use a credit card without any convenience fees or anything else. Start stacking your metal. Like I said, the most affordable metal in the marketplace, the 10-ounce copper bars. They're difficult to get. We have them in stock. Almost everybody is buying the 4-pack. Hey, stack your copper here today.